Well, it hurts us, obviously short term. Nick is somebody who we were counting on, obviously, provide that offense off the bench. So we're going to try to find that elsewhere. Feel bad for Nick, obviously, as well, because again, he brings a lot of energy and an unbelievable personality to the game. So, hopefully we can get him back a little sooner than later, and then we'll just go from there.
Coach, how does Nick being out of camp affect the camp?
Well, it really doesn't affect the camp. We're going to keep doing what we have to do to get better. Like I said, he's a different personality. He's one of those guys that you love being around because he always is keeping it pretty light. In that aspect, it might affect the game. But other than that, we're going to have to find different guys to do different things and just try to fill in for some of the things that he's capable of doing.
You had him for 4 days. What impressed you most about him?
Well, nothing really impressed me most about Nick. I already knew pretty good things about Nick. Watching him last year, getting to know him a little bit, and knowing the way he plays this game and knowing what he can provide. So he was doing everything that I expected, to be honest with you. And I thought when the season started, he would be even more comfortable in the system and would be even better. So I'm obviously disappointed in that.
You look at that second unit, is there anyone that comes to mind that could fill the void he leaves for a couple weeks?
Not right now. It's just one of those things where we just got to see where this kind of, falls into place, with our roster. But, obviously Kobe is going to play some of that 3 spot anyway, as well as 2. So I'll make it work. But it definitely cuts down the rotation, and the guys that I had planned on playing. So we'll just have to see where it goes.
To what degree does this even elevate Wes's role even more?
Well, I thought his role was going to be pretty elevated anyway.
Right.
I expect a lot from Wesley Johnson. He's been looking great in training camp. Running up and down the floor, defending, which is something that I think he can be one of the best in the leagues at doing. And he's been making his shots. So, it doesn't really elevate his game anymore, put more pressure on the things he has to do. He just still has to come out and play the way I know he's capable of playing.
What do you think is going to be the key for him this season in terms of being consistent?
I don't know yet. I think the first thing is just being comfortable. Out there and knowing that, this is where he's going to be at all times. And, I got to get him to understand that. I got a lot of faith in him, a lot of confidence because I know he has a lot of ability. And when he's playing, don't worry about mistakes. Just play. If you make a mistake, just make sure you don't compound it by not getting back on defense or something like that, because he's got the capability of getting back and make it up for it right away. So just the biggest thing with him is just to make sure that he feels comfortable in the system and that he knows that, I'm going to play him. I think he's a hell of a talent. And he's just got to just continue to go out there with that type of confidence.
Coach, your mantra is let's get better every day.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get better today?
I think our conditioning has gotten better since day one. We kind of went back to some of the things that we did the first day. So it was a good, hard practice. Guys were a lot better in the conditioning things that we did. They wasn't as winded as early as they were last time. So that made me feel a little bit happier. And our competitive nature today really kind of stood out. Guys really got after each other in a very good way. So, along with the conditioning, guys are getting in shape, which means they're not getting as tired as fast, which means now they can still think about what we're doing on both ends of the floor. And fatigue wasn't a factor, and I think that's big for us.
What happened to Steve Nash early on in the practice?
I think he just kind of stepped on Julius's feet, when we were doing one of the drills and just wanted to check it out and make sure it was okay.
So you think he'll be okay to practice the next practice?
Well, we'll see. I haven't talked to Gary. He didn't return, and I know, with Steve, we want to make sure we be very cautious. But I am optimistic that he'll be back tomorrow.
Before that whole situation happened, what has he shown you thus far in training camp, Steve?
He looks a lot like the old Steve. He's in great shape. He's pushing the ball up and down the floor. He's making unbelievable passes. Makes the game better, easier for guys that are playing with him. Heck of a screen setter. He just makes the game look easy. So I've been very impressed with him, and just hope that, this little minor setback isn't a big setback.
What's your outlook with him this season, just in terms of not only his effectiveness, but his ability to be able to stay healthy?
Haven't sat down and talked to Steve about that like I have with Kobe about all the things that I expect. Steve and I will sit down and talk, obviously before Monday. And I want to see where he is and how he feels, what are his expectations. I've sit down with Gary Vitti and talked about him just like I did with Kobe. And then we'll just kind of go from there. Then him and I have a conversation and we'll go from there.
We saw a little bit of yesterday. Nick going down. Does that change how you may want to utilize?
I don't remember Jeremy being at the 3 yesterday. He's playing 1 or 2 or just a guard position. I don't remember him being at the 3.
When Nick come in for conditioning and defense today, was there ever a chance that he was going to get the day off?
No. his day off as far as shooting. He messed up the wrong hand. If he'd have messed up his left hand, he could still got some shots up. But as far as I know, when you hurt your hand, your feet are still okay, and your legs are too. So he can still do all the stuff that we do conditioning-wise that doesn't have anything to do with a basketball in his hand. So he came out today and he did all those things. And there was one drill I think he was sitting down. And I said, "No, you can do this too." And he got up and did it. So we're gonna try to keep his conditioning up.
Is this a time you can work on his left as well?
Big time. Big time.
Can you update us on Ryan Kelly?
Ryan's getting better. He's getting better. Hopefully by Thursday, when we play our second preseason game, that he can return to practice somewhere in that week, at the end of that week. That's what we're hoping for right now.
How about Xavier? Where's he stand?
Same with Xavier. He's getting better. Have no timetable as far as when he's going to return, but I know each day he's getting better. His back is getting better. That spasm that he caught day one is starting to loosen up. But again, no timetable.